black men want to always talk about how we the leaders of our community. Well, let's lead. And part of leading is listening. Part of leading is not being defensive. Part of leading is recognizing that you most likely will, your first mind be defensive. So to try to cap yourself, first mind should be shut the fuck up, even if it's hard. You know what I mean? All of us like struggle with that, and we can all just be better.
One goal, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's certain real niggas do real fucking thing. One goal, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's certain real niggas do real fucking thing.
A friend of mine shared me this meme. It's not common for a black man to check his black friend for sexually harassing a black woman or abusing her. They always got to hear both sides, and they're taking their boy's side even when the receipts are in front of him. Most of us don't have immediate access or communication to cuss out police officers. You can text a homeboy, brother, chargy, partner right now and let them know where you stand on abusing women and trans folks. Since y'all love discussing shit so much, discuss that. And I don't know if that was some part that she added to be petty or what have you, but it brings up a very interesting conversation because she also brought, like, you know, she also said some real shit that's also a saying of every woman knows a woman that's been abused, but apparently no niggas know any niggas that have been that abused.
There's a serial rapist in Houston. There's nothing funny about serial rape, but what is noteworthy about this particular rapist is that all of his victims have been men. Enjoy your evening. I can't believe you clapped about that. It's a man raping men in Houston. That's the most gangster shit. So far, like 7 men have already come forward in the Houston area and reported this motherfucker, which means he must have raped thousands. That's a tough phone call for us to make. It's not like when you get raped, ladies. There's no society don't give a fuck about male rape. There's no hotline for us. Man get raped, you just gotta get up and walk that shit off. Got raped.
How do you deal with it if your friend is an abuser?
All right, number one.
And before I'm gonna let you go in a second, and because it's a very interesting thing that she said about adding, like, cause she says, I'm trying to tell you this because I can't change the past, I can't change a bunch of things, but her main deal was, as men, there's certain topics that we need to add to our conversation amongst men. And that, cause I even told her, I was like, bro, like, cause at a point she was talking about how, like, you know, when it comes to black men protecting women, that means the women in your community, that means the women around you, that means, you know what I mean, even like, you know what I mean, even being aware of if your boys might be doing something to his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, at first I was like, man, my first mind ain't even thinking that my nigga is doing something. So my mind, like, and it's a blind spot. You know what I'm saying? It's a real blind spot. Like
my nigga not even show signs of
right. Like, if I don't know like, let's say if one of my niggas is an abuser, he's not gonna present I'm gonna finish the sentence. He's not gonna, in most cases, present his abusive side to me, so I won't see it. People watch TV and act like niggas just be laying back and they just watching these niggas smack up chicks. And that might be some shit that happen in some communities. When you're average community, my nigga, if your nigga is an abuser, you won't know unless he gets arrested one day and you're like, damn, nigga, right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for black women, a strong sense of cultural affinity and loyalty to community and race renders many of us silent, so our stories often go untold.
And I think it's also just so hard for us because we're raised to protect the black man at all costs, even if it's the cost to our own lives, our own bodies, our own families. And I think there comes a point where we have to turn that care internal.
Absolutely.
So that we can protect ourselves, so that we're not sacrificing our own livelihoods to protect our men.
Yeah, there's also a huge financial aspect of it because when you have physical violence within a relationship, it usually is coupled with financial abuse as well. So many men use their standing as the quote-unquote head of the household to control the finances. So a lot of women can't even leave or, you know, try to get to safety for themselves or their children because they literally cannot afford to do it. So they are stuck.
So it was like one of those things where I felt kind of bad because because she thought I was going on defense mode. I might have been, but it was like a logical defense mode because it's like being I'm gonna say attacked, but she wasn't attacking me. But I'm gonna say this is the feeling. It's like being attacked for an unknown. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're attacking me for not protecting you about some shit that I wouldn't have even thought the motherfucker would ever even do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and we're talking about the level of love. You know what I mean? There's these things like that's my nigga old lady, but my nigga old lady ain't necessarily my friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Usually, my niggas or ladies are not my friends.
And there might be a problem in that, and not necessarily you need to make all your niggas or ladies your friends, but it's still part of your community. And when we talk about,
that mean I won't protect you just because we ain't friends though.
But wait, say the word again.
Just because we ain't friends don't mean I won't protect you.
But that's the thing. That's what happens. They don't get protection.
I was subjected to just about every form of abuse by being in this marriage. There was always this level of emotional abuse where he would belittle me. He would remind me that I was nothing without him. And it might not seem so bad in one particular episode, but just imagine years and years and years and years of hearing that. What it did, the impact it had on my self-esteem and self-worth. I thought I couldn't do nothing on my own. Then there was the beat down. And this was a ritual. This was all consecutive. And after a while, I began to calculate it. I began to prepare myself for it.
When a survivor come in, they coming in to talk about what was done to them. And what we do, we process everything that happened to them and we point out what the perpetrator's done.
What I heard from Miss Freeman was some verbal violence, which also connected with some emotional violence in her life.
Her first husband was saying, "You're nothing without me, you ain't got no money, or you don't pretty much exist." And she thought that, so she internalized it.
Let me say this, dude. I think what she's bringing up is valid, okay? It is a conversation that does need to be had, and it should be normal. That should be a very normal conversation that can be had about us. You know what I mean? But I cannot check something that I don't know is happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. If I can't see it, I can't do anything about it. Usually, at least the times that it has happened, when I find out that a dude that I know is doing something fucked up to a woman, it's usually after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's already happened. So it's like I can't even protect you at that point. And that only just leaves the question at the end. It's like, you know, what do we do? Like, I really don't even know how to approach something like that. Like, how do I fight an unseeable thing?
Oh, snap. Somebody got some sneakers outside. Yo, look at these sneakers in the hallway, son. Shoot, that's my man's size. Watch this, yo, these must be some like Mike's or something. You get the other one, I get that one.
I think even just having this conversation to even put this in because that's the thing. I don't think about my niggas being abusers, and there's a fucked up thought process of, well, maybe sometimes you might want to check in, but I don't know how you do that without being disrespectful because you know it's a delicate thing. What you saying?
For us, me speaking on what I think for us, we are a very particular group, so it's hard for us. You dig? As far as like we do have conversations with remember most of our niggas about this, so it's kind of hard for us to like check out with our niggas when we kind of have these conversations already with our niggas, you know, randomly. Even if like it's like we slight check in without doing it because we know each other so well and we watched each other grow and this and the third. So us as a particular group is very hard. I think everyone should have a practice on that. But as far as us, like I think we don't think about it as much in our group. Because we kind of subconsciously do it already and talk about it already.
We talking about men right now. I don't want to, you know.
No, because we were talking about like us and like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just like putting like why we don't feel like this as far as men. Because sometimes this is what we used to talk about all the time about how we like, damn, dog. We thought niggas used to be on this shit and they really not. So sometimes I got to forgive myself for be thinking like, wait a minute. these niggas not really on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad at yourself like, I'll be like, fuck, man, why these niggas be acting like this? Why you doing this stupid shit? We don't act like this or something like that, the third. But then he goes back to saying, do we act like this?
That's what I'm about to say. I can't claim perfection.
Stop generalizing men, eh? Ladies go around saying, all men are the same. All men are the same. Who told you to test all of them? Who? That energy you are focusing on all of them. Can you not manage one? Have you tested me? Those ladies who have tested me in here say I. Hey!
I don't want to get caught wrapped in defending ourselves. I want to look at it as a problem of like it's general men, because anytime we start defending ourselves, it start looking like when people point out good cops. Like, oh, you know what I mean? It start making us sound like, oh yeah, but no, we the good cops.
Right.
But right now we're talking about.
I definitely want.
I mean,
no, I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just saying it so it can be said. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what y'all are doing. I'm saying it so it can be said, like so it can be said, because sometimes a thing just needs to be said. You know what I mean? Like in many men, in many regards, when women start talking, they present certain things, we do get in the defensive, and we do, start defending ourselves, and we do start. That's where the not all men concept come from. You know?
Fairness. Y'all want everything to be fair, when certain things just isn't. Y'all talk about y'all want everything to be equal, like in the workplace. If I can lift something that's 200 pounds and you cannot, should you get the same equal pay as me? Because this is a man's world. It's a man's world. You have to understand that.
I mean, we start being like, no, but we're the good cops. Yeah. But they're talking about there's the system, it's the system of cops, because we can know that the system is a systemic issue. We know there's a bunch of good cops. There's a lot of fucked up cops, and the system lends itself to protect the fucked up cops. And it's the same thing right now with patriarchy with niggas. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good men, and I would love to say most of us are good. But even if you're looking at 7 billion people, and even if most of the men are good, there's still a lot of us that aren't. And even the good ones are flawed to a degree. So it's almost like all of us can be better. So it's like I'm trying to take in all of that, and
I guess
being real and honest and raw about all of it. You know what I mean? We all are flawed, and the worst of us, we still are responsible for to a degree, because some parts of us have probably accepted some of that shit in certain regards, in certain situations, and circumstances.
Now I ain't gonna lie, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Standing up calls for some courage. Standing up can get you killed. You dig? That's real shit, dog. Standing up for someone who you do not know. You know what I'm saying? Because this world of individuality is real. You dig? Because you walk this bitch, you save one person, but then you walk alone after you save that one person. And who's there to save you? You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is, it takes courage. You got to look at who's been fighting for us all this time and who always had the courage. You dig? And it's always been the black woman. And for us to say we are all about courage and about this manhood shit, the biggest thing is to stand up. You dig? And fight for what's right.
Men do listen to what they want to listen to. My wife tells me yesterday, take the trash out. I don't take the trash out. I don't want to listen to that. I conveniently forget that I'm supposed to take the trash out. My wife tells me we can have sex tonight, or tomorrow, or 3 weeks from now. She can give me a date 3 years in the future. Never gonna forget that, because that's what's important to me. So the answer simply is, a man's gonna listen to what he thinks is important and what he values out of your mouth.
And it starts about, you gotta acknowledge the symptom before you can attack it. You know what I'm saying? So
try to silence your ego a little bit.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit.
Because they can't all be crazy. You know what I mean? We're they're crazy. They can't all be crazy.
What's the fucking likelihood that most of them are lying?
Only your sister telling the truth. Only your auntie telling the truth. Only your mama telling the truth. Only girls that you cool with telling the truth.
Right. What's the real likelihood, bro?
Come on.
Man, listen. Trust these black women, bro. Trust me.
Be open, because again, I know when you say that, there's gonna be a nigga going, but there's a chick that fucked over me, and I know I'm traumatized with that chick. So it's like I can't have you unhave experiences, but at least try to do exactly what Joe said. At least try. Be open.
Men, listen.
That woman talking to you ain't the woman that fucked you over.
One code, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's real niggas do real fucking things.